Hey, welcome back. I'd like to spend a few minutes talking to you about the Golden Rule, which is considered by many to be the epitome of Jesus' wise teachings. And the Golden Rule is taken from Matthew 7, where Jesus says, "All things, therefore, that you want men to do to you, you must likewise do to them." This, in my opinion, is a lovely expression. It's very deep, it's very important, it's relevant, and it's, to a large extent, it's worth living by. Although I do have a slight objection to the fact that Jesus was only talking about men, but I think this is really quite a wise and deep saying. But you'll also find in the Bible an expression that says, "Never has another man spoken like this," in reference to Jesus. And Christians of all stripes believe that Jesus' teachings were just superlative, they're just beyond comparison. But when we look through history, we find numerous examples of either the exact expression or a variation on that expression. And sometimes they're even broader and more encompassing than Jesus' statement. From Egyptian teachings, we find a text called A Farmer and the Courts from the 21st to the 17th century BCE. It says, "Follow this teaching. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you." This expression is almost identical to what Jesus said and was written 2 millennia before Jesus was born. It is even hundreds of years older than even the traditional dating of Moses, who supposedly wrote the Pentateuch. In Indian Buddhism, we read, "Hurt not others with what pains yourself." In Hinduism, in the Bhagavad Gita, we read, "See the self in every creature and all creation in the self." In Jainism, a man should wander about treating all creatures as he himself would be treated. Chinese literature and philosophy and religion also has several examples that touch on this very same idea. In Confucius' Analects, we read, "Do not do to others what you do not want them to do to you." Mo Tzu said, "A man should love others as himself and also their parents as his own." Lao Tzu, in the Tao Te Ching, said, "Those who were good I treat as good. Those who were not good I treat as good." In Persian Zoroastrianism, we read that nature alone is good, which refrains from doing unto another whatsoever is not good for itself. The Greeks also had several examples or variations of the Golden Rule. Aristotle, the famous Greek philosopher, to the question about how we should behave to friends, he answered, "As we should wish them to behave to us." When Thales was asked, "How shall we lead the best and most righteous life?" he answered, "By refraining from doing what we blame in others." The Romans, too, had variations on this theme. Seneca, the Roman statesman and philosopher, said, "Treat your inferiors as you would be treated by your betters." And of course, we also have the Jewish example from Leviticus, which says, "You must love your fellow as yourself." But of course, this Jewish injunction was referring to fellow Israelites. And so it was really quite parochial in nature. It was reserved for fellow Israelites only. This idea that the essence of the Golden Rule, or even the exact replica of the Golden Rule, is found in many other ancient cultures, is something that the Watchtower just occasionally will acknowledge, but not really explore the implications of. In the Watchtower of 2001, it says, "The idea of the Golden Rule, however, is by no means confined to the so-called Christian world. Judaism, Buddhism, and Greek philosophy all expounded this ethical maxim in one form or another." Now, it's to their credit that they say that. However, this is a frustrating leitmotif in Watchtower literature, that they occasionally touch on something that is important and relevant, but they just don't explore it any further, as if just mentioning it is enough to deflect any further exploration of the subject. But we have to ask ourselves some serious questions here. Why is Jesus just rehashing the same sentiments of people many centuries before him and after him? Is this really the best we could expect from the Son of God, the great teacher? Why is he just repeating things that humans have said? And isn't the wisdom of the world supposed to be foolishness with God? And so I think the golden rule is quite a good example of how we should evaluate things that we read in the Bible and things that we hear from other people. They need to be evaluated on their own merits. Some of what we read in the Bible is good, it's deep, it's important, it's worth following. Some things are disgraceful and despicable and worth discarding. It's the same with human wisdom. And quite often you'll find, when you compare the Bible to human wisdom, you'll often find that the things that you like, the things that are good, the things that are beneficial, are things that human wisdom had already explored and acknowledged and espoused long, long before the Bible writers did. Okay, that's just a thought for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.